didn't really film much today, but I hand pumped another 50 litres, the bottom 50 litres out of the tank, so I could lift it up out of the way. And then I got in underneath, cleaned it all up, gave it an initial vac with the wet and dry, vacked everywhere, everything, just an initial vac. I've got to do that front room yet, but that can wait for maybe this afternoon. It's still only 1:30. I can pull that down. Might go get some lunch and come back for another couple of hours in the arvo. Maybe. Or I might just go home and crack a beer. It is Sunday. So, that's great. Initial clean, looking pretty good, initial clean. Then the timbers are coming. Look at the floor level, it's all the way up here. It's pretty cool, eh? So we've got plenty of room for tanks, bilge pump, and a nice big open bilge area now that this is going to clean up really well. And then we'll paint the whole thing nice and white, all in the base, while we've got the tank up out of the way. And then we've got to start ripping all these out soon. Might have to do that next weekend, start ripping them all out. We got the floor taken out of here. I've vacked up all this. Here's the cheap little Azedo 12 litre, $50 special for this job because it's probably not going to live after it. And the other thing I want to try and do now is we've got to get this out so we can get some new seals. Take these off, slide them out. That's got to come off the end. Clean all these fittings up and new seals. New seal there, new seal on the outside. But otherwise, you know, it's coming along. The demo's the longest part. You've got to clear everything out that you want gone. Prep it ready for the build. That actually filmed, but okay, we've got the hoses for the fuel tank we need to replace, the filler, the breather. Beautiful. We've knocked out all our fittings, cut them all off, cleaned them up. Now we're going to get this fitting out. We'll do the same for the water hoses. We'll we'll get all them out so that we've got all new fittings going everywhere. Cool. I'm gonna rip this ball out. It's about time. About time to rip this ball out. Let's get it out. Is this thing on? Testing, testing. 1, 2. So, hey, welcome back. What are we doing? We're sanding. We're gonna do some sanding. I ran around all the edges yesterday of this and gave it a first real clean up. So it's gonna need another good sand. I want to start sanding up all this, take these little fittings off and stuff, the speakers, start cleaning all this timber up. And under here, we've got to clean all that crap up. But also, yesterday, I got this bad boy out, cleaned up a bit in here, so we've got to knock off all the little bits and pieces. And we took out this face. We're going to keep that face and reuse it on the new cupboards that we put in here. But got that face out. Face off. Got the face off. Cool. Just grabbed myself a $40 sander because you know, in these situations, I don't need to spend a lot of money on a really good one. I've got a good, really good orbital and stuff, but when it comes to a little mouse, it just needs to jiggle. And we'll sand her all up. Give it a go. All right. Lucky it's a nice cool day today. We got heaps sanded inside. I'm pretty dusty and dirty again. Oh, I love it. but got all the timber trim sanded up, as you can see, and we've just scraped more paint, done another big scrape, done another clean up of edges. It's going to need a few scrapes, it's going to need a few cleans to get everything right. Now what I want to look at is this little piece here. So this was what was originally holding in the main mast, and you can see how rotted it ended up. But I can use this block as a template to build a new one, and we're not going to do a keel mount mast, we're going to do a deck mount mast now, because we got some masks. Check them out, here's some photos. So the sick thing with these masks is I got one of them for a slab. Hey, I got the mizzen for a slab, and the mast, they're going to do me a pretty cheap deal, so we've just got to clean these up. I was going to do timber masts, but the more that we've looked into it, the more trouble it's going to be. We've got to get, I mean, the timber to start with has been tricky to get. There's obstacle number one, the cost. Pretty expensive to make them. I would love to have made them. I was looking at doing the bird's mouth joints, setting up some jigs, but then it's where to make them, you know. To make them here, to make them keel mount, they need to be 17.5 meters long, which is going to go from like back here to past the end of the car. And this is the only space I really have that's big enough to do it. I'd have to build something to cover it, and a big jig, and anyway, it was getting too difficult. And then it wasn't getting too difficult, it was difficult. And then talking to a few different mast builders, rigging guys, other people with yachts in town and online, and just really researching it flat out. You know, aluminium masts with the coupling on top of the deck, make it a deck mount, build some sort of a, I'm thinking a nice solid post from the deck down to a new mounting platform, and that will create our support for the mizzen, for the main mast. Then we can seal over the top, and we can put a coupling up there so that we can just lift the mast up, slot it onto a coupling, and then fix all the rigging points off. It's going to be the best way to go. And I got masts for pretty cheap, so we're just going to finalise the price for the main mast and the furler, and I should have everything that I need then for a good price. We just got to clean them up. What else have we done? Righto, so we've got to wait a little bit now before we can start buying more items. We've got to just basically pay for the items that we've ordered already, that we're getting happening. A couple of parts for the engine, just to keep that ticking along, because I can't afford to buy all the bits and pieces at once. So we've got a couple of small parts coming in for the engine. We've figured out the masts and stuff, we've got to pay for that. We've got the flooring timber coming in, we've got to pay for that. But the next important thing that I reckon we'll do next weekend is build the frame with a tarp, because I've worked out that's going to cost me about $700. Good little investment, and we'll cover the boat. And then we can start ripping the roof sections off that need to be replaced, and replace the roof beams. So that's probably the next project, because I want to do all of that messy work and fix up the roof, seal the roof all back up before we start fitting out the interior. So right now, until I save up enough money for all those little bits and pieces, I'm just going to keep looking for little bits that I need to do in the interior every weekend while we're saving money. Sand, scrape, sand, prep, more sanding, bit more prep, bit more sanding. we'll sand it 15 times, I reckon, just to make sure it's right, because there's a lot of little flaky bits. And awesome. All right guys, we'll leave it with that. I hope you have an awesome week, and we'll see you next time.